Hello, this is my dad, Peter Law Sr., and I will be interviewing him about his job. He is a lawyer. So, the first question, please tell us about how you got into your line of work and when did you first know this is what you wanted to do?
Well, my line of work, as you mentioned, is a lawyer. I'm an attorney and I practice law here in Atlanta in my own firm. And I got into the legal profession purely by chance. It was a totally fortuitous circumstance, as many things in life are. It was just a conversation with a construction boss. After my first year of college, I was working a construction job home in New Jersey. We were coming out of New York City across the George Washington Bridge, important moment, and he asked me what I was studying, and I told him business, hotel, and restaurant management, and he told me he suggested he thought I would be a good lawyer, and I literally said to him, "You think I'd be a good lawyer, Rich?" He said, "Yep, I know you would be, son." And that was it. It was by chance. I got into the practice of law, and as I found out what lawyers do, it certainly had a lot of things that I was interested in, and so that's how I got into the practice of law.
Okay. Does your faith, religion, spirituality play a role in determining the job you currently have?
It did to a certain extent. It did. The legal profession has a lot of morality and opportunities to help people and to apply the underlying principles of Christianity or any religion, any faith-based religion. And so the law has a lot of underpinnings in uh, Christian-based principles as well as other faith-based principles, other religions, and so to a certain extent, it did play a factor in it.
What do you like and dislike about your job?
What I like about my job is the people. We meet a lot of people from different places, from different walks of life, and get to help them and get to interview them and to talk with them, whether it's to a jury, a judge, maybe in politics. Certainly, the law has a lot of overplay into politics. So we meet a lot of interesting people who are in need and need the assistance of a lawyer. I really like that. And you meet a lot of people. Lawyers tend to be an interesting group of people who have a lot of different hobbies and interests. They're usually well read and obviously educated through law school. And so I enjoy the people the most. Um, what I would dislike is the amount of paperwork, and then, of course, the law can create some degree of animosity or arguing or fighting among lawyers. So those two factors oftentimes make it a little less fun than it would be otherwise.
What did you think you were going to be when you grew up?
Well, when I was very young, I thought I was going to be a truck driver. I thought I was going to be a business owner, which I am to a certain extent. I run a law firm of 12 to 15 people. And then I thought I was going to be in the business management. And then eventually, once I was a freshman in college, decided I wanted to go to law school. And then went through the remainder of college, taking some pre-law courses, and then going to law school here at Emory.
Interesting. Do you have any favorite stories from your work life?
I do have a couple stories, a couple great stories that I like. That my favorite case is a case I've lost at every single level. It was a case of a soldier who was injured in Iraq. So he was a gunner in the army, and he was supporting a civilian contractor who was supplying oil between bases. And he was buried in the sand for a part of time and lost a lot of oxygen and came back in a vegetative state, and they couldn't find a family to sue the private contractor. If it was in the United States, you would have just filed a lawsuit against them to get his medical bills paid. So the family here in DeKalb County, Georgia, asked us, and I had told them it was a 1 in 100 chance, or maybe 1 in 1,000, that the case could be won because of the political question doctrine, which prevents uh, these types of lawsuits or calls into questions, make them difficult. We were the first case to survive a motion to dismiss at the federal level. We went to the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit and then to the Supreme Court of the United States and got to meet with the sitting attorney, uh, Solicitor General for the United States up in Washington, D.C. It was fun. We lost at every level, but it was a great case, and we actually had made some really good law and got some attention from some people on the case who thought it was very important.
So do you have any favorite, I mean, excuse me, if you had to do it over, what would you do differently? Would you go to a different school, internship, anything?
No, I don't think that I have any regrets in that regard. I think it's worked out as I had hoped it would work out. I've really enjoyed practicing law, and so no, I don't know that I would do it over anything differently. Certainly, we've made mistakes along the way. I would have handled cases differently in hindsight, but for the most part, as far as my career choice and the path I took within the law, I'm pretty satisfied with where we ended up.
Any mistakes or wrong turns you made that you now think were very helpful?
Oh yeah, you learn from your mistakes. So I've tried a lot of cases. I've been involved in well over 100 jury trials, and so some of those early trials, I would be too confident, and jurors could see that. We have a 12-person jury system in Georgia, and some people would see um, mistakes like that, or maybe being too aggressive with a witness on the stand, and afterwards talking to the jurors and how that impacted the trial and things like that. I would have, so yeah, you learn from your mistakes. Cases I've lost, you learn a lot more really from the cases you win.
So did or do you have a mentor or inspiration?
I do. I've had several mentors. One person was a great mentor, of course, was excluding family members, would be the construction worker I shared with earlier. He taught me always how to solve problems and think things through. I've told the story before that one time I was driving one of his trucks on the New Jersey Turnpike, and what's called a PTO shaft fell down, and I pulled over. It was making a big clanging noise, dragging along the interstate. And a PTO shaft, and I know this because I drove trucks, did not. It doesn't make any difference on how you drive it. So you only engage it when you're lifting up the bed to dump. And so I called him, and he was a very good boss and had a big construction company. And I said the truck was broken, something's hanging down, and he drove 2 hours to meet me. Uh, got out of his car on the side of the interstate, literally looked at it, went into the truck, took a coat hanger out, bent it, and tied that PTO shaft to the front side of the car in about 3 minutes. And he didn't say anything to me. He didn't yell at me. He just looked at me, and that was a very big moment in my life because I could have solved that problem for him, and I did. And so that was a moment, and he had a lot of examples like that as a mentor. Who He was a mentor who really taught me a lot. And then in law, I've had some great mentors. I had a boss, my first job at a big firm. He came in and told me, I remember it very clearly. I had written a brief for him, and he said, "It'll get by. It's good enough." He said, "But the line between mediocrity and being exceptional is a fine line and a small line." And that, he encouraged me to be exceptional. So that was a great mentorship that he provided for years. I really appreciated him. And then I've had a lot of others. You need mentors. So one caveat though, that mentors are important for what not to do. They're important for what not to do. As you want to become yourself. So you may see a lot of qualities and a lot of great things that you learn from a mentor, but there may be some things that you perhaps don't want to emulate. Maybe in your life you want to do something differently. So I've had a lot of good mentors in that respect. I've been fortunate to have that.
Good. So do you plan on working in law for the rest of your life, or would you like to take a break at some point?
No, I do plan on working a lot. I enjoy it, and people always ask me, "Hey, you gonna retire? When are you gonna retire?" And I don't ever want to retire as long as I'm healthy and able to do it. I certainly would like to cut back to spend more time. I feel I have good balance, and that's one of the keys with any job is finding balance between your personal life, your family life, your religious and spiritual life, and having fun and enjoying life. And so the practice of law, I enjoy going into work. There are days that are grinds, but there's also incredible highs and incredible rewards in the sense of accomplishments and helping people. So I don't think I'll ever truly retire. God willing, my health is adequate to keep me working. But no, I really enjoy the challenge and the fun and the competing. The law is there's usually two sides, and you're dealing with smart people, and it's fun to it's very fun to compete with other people on a case.
So, what about your job keeps you going and motivated?
Just to continue, there's a lot of things the law can do, and there's a lot of sub elements. Our particular areas, we're usually helping families. I have a lot of young children I'm helping through legal issues, taking challenging cases that sometimes are cutting edge or sometimes are a little different than the average type of legal case to bring about change. We've done a lot of products liability cases where companies have recalled dangerous products and things like that. So what was the question again?
So, what keeps you motivated?
So those types of things, yeah, exactly. Those types of things keep you going and excited. And I have a great law partner, and I have great people around me. And then we're able to bring in clerks and kids from. We've certainly had you come clerk for some time in the summer, and so it's fun to have people around you and to make a difference. It keeps you motivated.
All right. So, to whom would you recommend this profession for?
You, for one, I think you'd be a great lawyer because you're compassionate, you care about people, you like people, and you can lead in the right situations. I would recommend it for anybody who enjoys reading, who enjoys politics, who enjoys history, who likes to work hard, because you need to work hard like in any business or in any job. The harder you work, oftentimes. But yeah, people who like to compete as well. If you want to be a trial lawyer, you're usually competing against very talented and gifted lawyers, and then you play within certain rules, and so I'd recommend it to anybody who enjoys those types of activities: reading, talking, speaking in front of people, helping people. The law has something for everything. It's really a profession that it can be stressful, but it's less stressful than others, more stressful than some. So it's just it's for anybody who enjoys being around people, talking to people, whether it's one-on-one or groups of people. We may have a speech we give one week for a lot of people, and we may be dealing with just individuals for weeks at a time. So it's a fun profession.
So lastly, do you have any recommendations for me?
I think that you should come work for me, do research, write papers, work together. No, I'm kidding, but I think you should go consider the law if that's something that you're interested in. You've certainly had the influence of seeing your father practice law for your entire life, and you can see, that I enjoy it, and that's something that I get up every morning excited, and I come home, and sometimes I come home later because I do like practicing law. And so my advice to you would be keep your mind open. You don't have to know yet what you want to do with the rest of your life, but there's a lot of different opportunities. I certainly didn't know until I was in college. And like I said, it was just a chance encounter. I was driving across the George Washington Bridge, and I went home to work construction after my first year in college. And fortuitous, I didn't have any lawyers in my family. And my boss gave me some guidance. He was a good mentor, one of the questions you asked. And he was a religious man. And as we talked about it, it was all the things that I like. So I think that you should look at something that you like. You'd be a great teacher. You'd be a great businessman. You'd be a great lawyer. And I think that that would be my advice to you is just keep your mind open. Continue. You've already shown interest. You've come and clerked at the summer. You spent time at the firm. You've asked questions. And certainly we would love to have you do that, but you need to, just keep your mind open, continue working hard, continuing studying, and sooner or later, what you want to spend your life doing um, will be clear to you. So that would be my advice. My advice would be to really consider going to law school. I think you'd be a great lawyer.
Well, thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time and input.
It was a pleasure.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. See ya.